Most men have no idea how women's minds truly work, but after watching this, you'll never see attraction the same way again. Stay till the end, because the third secret will completely change how you connect with women forever. Comment below your location and subscribe to join our growing community of men who understand female psychology on a deeper level. You see, most men spend their entire lives believing that what attracts a woman begins and ends with how he looks. His body, his style, his height, his face. But here's the truth that almost no one tells you: women are far more turned on by what they feel around a man than by what they see. Attraction for a woman starts deep in her emotional and psychological space. And when you understand this, everything about the way you connect with women begins to change. A woman's arousal is tied to how deeply she feels seen, understood, and emotionally safe. When a man listens, not just waiting for his turn to speak, but genuinely trying to understand what she's saying, what she means, and what she's not saying, it touches her in a place that most men never reach. That's because women are wired to connect through emotion and empathy. So when she encounters a man who can feel her world, who can make her feel understood without judgment, something powerful happens. She associates that emotional connection with attraction. It's easy to overlook this because the world tells men to be stoic, to hide feelings, to appear strong by being detached. But what most men don't realize is that emotional intelligence, that calm, grounded confidence that says, "I understand you and you can trust me," is one of the most arousing traits a man can possess. It's not about being overly emotional or needy. It's about being emotionally present. The kind of presence that says, "You're safe here? Think about it." When a woman opens up about something personal, and instead of giving advice or trying to fix it, the man simply listens and acknowledges her emotions, she feels connected. Her guard drops, her body relaxes. In that moment, attraction begins to bloom, not because of physical touch, but because of emotional resonance. That's what so many men miss. The real intimacy starts in conversation, in silence, in understanding, and there's another layer to this. Emotional depth doesn't just make a woman feel comfortable, it also intrigues her. Because in a world full of men who perform confidence, a man who is genuinely self-aware stands out. He doesn't need to prove his worth. He doesn't seek validation. His calmness and ability to handle emotions, both his own and hers, communicate an inner strength that she instinctively respects. Women are drawn to that kind of power. It's not loud. It's quiet, steady, magnetic. This is why you'll often see women gravitating toward men who seem to get them, even if those men aren't conventionally attractive. They offer emotional security, the kind that allows her to be feminine, expressive, and vulnerable without fear. That dynamic creates a polarity, masculine presence meeting feminine openness, and that polarity is electric. When a man operates from emotional depth, his energy changes. His words carry weight. His silence communicates confidence. And suddenly, she's not responding to what he looks like. She's responding to the energy he brings into the room. She feels it before she can even explain it. That's the kind of connection that bypasses logic and goes straight into the emotional brain, the part of her that decides attraction long before she's even conscious of it. But here's the challenge: most men have never been taught to lead with emotional presence. They were taught to impress, to perform, to chase. Yet, the paradox is that women are most turned on by men who don't need to chase, because those men already understand themselves. They're grounded in who they are, and that self-assurance naturally makes them attentive, curious, and emotionally aware. So when you speak to a woman, don't try to impress her. Connect with her. Listen for meaning, not just for words. Notice her tone, her pauses, the emotions behind her expressions. Be curious about her world without trying to dominate it. That's how you build real emotional chemistry, not through manipulation, but through genuine connection. You see, emotional depth is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the ability to handle your own emotions so well that you can hold space for someone else's. It's knowing when to speak and when silence says more. It's being aware that attraction isn't built through grand gestures, but through moments of understanding. Those small, almost invisible interactions where she feels that you get her. And once you reach that level of understanding, everything else becomes effortless. You no longer have to chase validation or prove yourself because your energy speaks louder than words. You'll find that women begin to lean into your presence, not because you demanded attention, but because you commanded it with quiet confidence and emotional mastery. In the end, real attraction isn't about looks or status. It's about emotional connection. The men who master that truth become unforgettable because they give women something far more rare than attention. They give them presence. So, the next time you're with a woman, remember this. She's not listening for your charm. She's feeling for your depth. The question isn't, how do I make her like me? The real question is, can I make her feel seen? Because once you can do that, attraction isn't something you chase. It's something you naturally create. There's something deeply magnetic about a man who carries himself with quiet strength. Not the kind of strength that tries to dominate or control, but the kind that moves with certainty, calm, grounded, and aware of his power. Women feel that energy long before they even register it consciously. It's the subtle kind of dominance that doesn't need to shout, and that's exactly why it draws women in so powerfully. You see, female attraction is tied not just to how a man looks, but to the energy he projects. Women are incredibly intuitive. They pick up on emotional cues and body language faster than most men realize. When she senses that a man is confident in his own skin, that he doesn't flinch under pressure or need constant validation, it signals something primal. Deep inside, it tells her, this is a man who can lead, protect, and stay steady when the world shakes. That feeling of emotional stability is what activates attraction on a subconscious level. The mistake many men make is confusing dominance with aggression. Real dominance is not about overpowering, it's about being anchored. It's about having control over yourself, your reactions, your words, your emotions. When a man can master his own state, he becomes magnetic because he communicates something that women crave but rarely find safety. The paradox is, the more a man controls himself, the more a woman feels free around him. His stillness gives her space to express her femininity. Think of it this way, a dominant man doesn't demand attention, he commands it. He doesn't chase validation because he's already validated by his sense of purpose. He doesn't argue to prove he's right, his calm conviction speaks for itself. When he walks into a room, he doesn't need to perform. His presence says everything. That's what women respond to, energetic certainty. Now, on a psychological level, this type of energy taps into what we call polarity, the magnetic pull between masculine and feminine energies. Feminine energy is flow, emotion, and intuition. Masculine energy is structure, direction, and stability. When a man embodies his masculine polarity authentically, not through force, but through grounded confidence, it creates an irresistible tension. The feminine naturally wants to flow toward that stability. She feels safe to open up, to trust, to lean in. This doesn't mean playing a role or pretending to be alpha. In fact, when men try to fake dominance through arrogance or control, women sense it instantly. True strength is felt, not performed. It comes from knowing who you are, what you want, and what you stand for, and not compromising that just to be liked. That's what real masculine power looks like. And here's the secret most men miss. Dominance isn't about what you do to her, it's about what you project within yourself. It's how you look at her, steady, unhurried, assured. It's how you make decisions, thoughtful, not reactive. It's how you hold space in silence without feeling the need to fill it. Women pick up on those subtleties because they reveal emotional discipline, and that's one of the most attractive traits a man can have. When a woman tests you, and it's not because she wants to break you, it's because she wants to feel you. She's unconsciously checking, is this man's energy real? Is he who he says he is? When you respond with calmness instead of defensiveness, she feels your stability. She feels your strength. That's when attraction deepens because she realizes she can trust you, not just emotionally, but energetically. This kind of presence doesn't come from pretending, it comes from inner work, from knowing your values, building discipline, and learning to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. Women are drawn to men who lead themselves first. When a man can lead his emotions, his thoughts, his actions, a woman instinctively feels she can follow that lead, not out of submission, but out of trust. There's a certain beauty in this balance. A man with dominant energy doesn't overpower a woman. He empowers her to be more of herself. His strength doesn't suppress her light. It gives her the freedom to shine brighter. That's the essence of true masculine energy. It's firm, but kind, strong, but gentle, certain, but never arrogant. And that blend of confidence and emotional intelligence is what makes him unforgettable. So when we say women are turned on by dominance, understand that it's not about control. It's about leadership through presence. It's about being the calm in her storm, the grounded force when she feels chaotic. It's about knowing how to hold her gaze without flinching, how to hold her emotions without judgment, and how to hold yourself without losing balance. This is what makes a woman lean in without realizing why. Because in a world full of uncertainty, a man who radiates certainty becomes irresistible. His quiet confidence tells her, you can be yourself here. You're safe here. And that sense of safety, not control, not charm, but safety, is what unlocks true feminine attraction. So if you want to embody that kind of energy, start by mastering yourself. Don't react, respond. Don't chase, attract. Don't seek control, embody peace. Because the moment you become the man who can hold his own emotions, you automatically become the man who can hold hers. And that right there is the kind of dominance that never fades. It doesn't come from force, it comes from presence. Because in the end, real power isn't about having control over others, it's about having control over yourself. And that's the kind of strength women feel trust and secretly crave. One of the biggest mistakes men make when it comes to attraction is believing that women want total openness right away. That if they just tell her everything, share every thought, and wear their hearts completely on their sleeves, she'll automatically feel closer. But here's the psychological twist most men never understand. Women are far more drawn to mystery than to predictability. It's the unknown, the space between words, the curiosity about who you really are that quietly stirs her attraction. When everything about you is laid bare from the start, there's nothing left for her to discover, and discovery in the female mind is the heartbeat of attraction. You see, women are emotional explorers. They don't just want to see you, they want to unravel you. They crave the excitement of piecing together who you are through your actions, your silence, your presence, your unpredictability. It's the slow reveal that keeps their interest alive. The psychology behind this goes deeper than most people realize. Attraction is tied to curiosity, and curiosity is triggered by uncertainty. When something or someone is slightly out of reach, the mind becomes more engaged. That tension between wanting to know and not knowing yet creates emotional energy, and that energy often translates into desire. It's the same reason why a movie or a book becomes captivating, because you want to find out what happens next. The same principle applies to human connection. So, when a man maintains a subtle sense of mystery, when he doesn't rush to explain himself, when he doesn't try to prove his worth, when he moves with quiet assurance, he activates a part of a woman's psychology that thrives on anticipation. She begins to wonder, who is this man really? What drives him? What's behind that confidence? And that curiosity pulls her deeper in. But mystery doesn't mean being cold, detached, or manipulative. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. True mystery comes from depth, from being a man who has more to him than what meets the eye. It's about living a life with purpose, direction, and a sense of inner world that she can sense but never fully define. When you have passions, goals, and principles that drive you, things you don't compromise just to gain approval, it creates a gravitational pull. You become intriguing because you have substance. Now, let's be honest, predictability kills attraction. When a man becomes too available, too eager, or too accommodating, the emotional polarity starts to fade. Women begin to feel they already know what's coming, and the thrill disappears. But when a man keeps an element of spontaneity, when his presence feels calm yet unpredictable, it reawakens that spark. She doesn't know exactly how he'll respond, but she feels his steadiness underneath it all. That combination of security and mystery is intoxicating. Philosophically, mystery ties into one of the deepest truths about human nature, that we value what we earn and what we pursue. When everything comes easily, it loses its significance. When something challenges us, intrigues us, or stretches us, it becomes meaningful. That's why a woman's interest often grows stronger when she feels she's gradually uncovering layers of who you are, rather than being handed everything up front. It's not about withholding affection or creating distance. It's about pacing the revelation of your depth. You can show this through subtle ways, by being calm in moments where most men would overreact, by maintaining your individuality instead of merging completely into her world, by giving her space to wonder what you're thinking without feeling the need to constantly explain yourself. When she senses that there's more to learn, more to feel, more to explore, she invests emotionally. Her attraction becomes anchored not just in how you look or what you say, but in the mystery of your inner world. And remember, unpredictability doesn't mean inconsistency. There's a big difference. Inconsistency breaks trust, but unpredictability keeps things alive. The key is to remain emotionally stable while being mentally stimulating. A woman should never doubt your reliability, but she should never be able to fully predict your next move either. When she can feel secure yet excited at the same time, that's when attraction reaches its peak. At a psychological level, this dynamic mirrors the way dopamine, the brain's desire chemical, works. Dopamine spikes when there's uncertainty, when there's something we want but haven't yet obtained. Too much certainty kills the spark because the mind stops releasing those chemicals of desire. So when you, as a man, maintain a sense of mystery through your self-control, your independence, your ability to surprise her in thoughtful ways, you're actually stimulating that emotional chemistry in her mind. That's why some women stay hooked on a man long after he's gone, not because of what he did, but because of the mystery he left behind. She keeps replaying conversations, imagining what he might have meant, wondering what could have been. That's the quiet power of being a man who doesn't reveal everything, who lets her imagination do part of the work. So the next time you connect with a woman, don't rush to fill every silence or explain every part of who you are. Let your actions speak. Let your energy do the talking. Be open, but not transparent, available, but not overly accessible. Give her the thrill of discovery, the feeling that there's always more to learn about you. Because mystery isn't about hiding, it's about depth. It's about being so secure in yourself that you don't need to overshare or seek constant validation. You let her earn your truth, piece by piece, moment by moment. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Because in the end, mystery is not a tactic. It's a reflection of a man who truly knows himself, a man who doesn't need to be fully understood to be deeply felt. And when you can embody that, you don't just attract women, you captivate them, mind, heart, and soul.